Now, my views may have been swayed because I bought a swanky new racing wheel to go along with F1 2017, but I had a lot of fun driving fast cars around narrow tracks. F1 2017 doesn't do a lot more than its predecessors, but it's the continual refinement through the years that has left it as a finely tuned machine, like the cars in the game. The expanded research and development system in the career mode, the management of the engine parts as you drive from race to race, and the fact that the driving is still just really fun, makes every race a blast from lights out to the checkered flag. Overall, F1 2017 isn't a massive leap in quality, but as long as Codemasters keep making them like this, they'll always be my go-to racing game. Creating a sequel to The Stick of Truth was always going to be a tough task, which is probably why Ubisoft played it so safe with The Fractured Butthole, but thankfully they had a solid foundation to build on. While the game feels a bit more like an expansion than a fully fledged sequel, it doesn't stop some of the changes shining through. The new combat is incredibly engaging and feels so rewarding when you line up combos, and the superhero powers feel a lot more fleshed out than the fantasy classes did. But the writing is still the star of the show, with Matt and Trace still being able to push the boundaries that little bit further in their new chosen media.
I know that to a young kid it can seem like cops are racist and bigoted, but you can't believe what the media tells you. Cops are just people, like you, your friends, your family. People who work hard to spook!
Oh, Tupperware!
And while it lacks a bit of the polish that the original had, The Fractured Butthole is still a really enjoyable ride and doesn't overstay its welcome. Bungie's follow-up to Destiny is full of highs and lows. The issues are still there, the game has managed to somehow have less content than the first, and it feels as though they've cut a few corners in the world designs. But I'm willing to look past those problems when the game has so many high points. The gunplay is still probably the best out there, they've addressed the story issues from the first game, and it's still just fun to run around blowing enemies away mindlessly. However, Destiny 2 really starts to shine when you're playing the content with your friends, and it all just starts blending together so well. The issues aren't problems when the rest of the game shines so well, and playing with a friend just makes them shine so much brighter. I love Destiny 2, but I can see why some people wouldn't. But Bungie managed to right the wrongs of the first game within the first year with some DLC, so I can only see Destiny 2 getting better and better as Bungie continually refine their formula. Persona 5 is nearly 100 hours of pure style, amazing Japanese weirdness, and just some unadulterated fun. And while it could easily be confused as one of these games that's put style over substance, there is plenty to chew on in the best Persona game ever made. The usual tropes of the Persona series are still there. You're still a Japanese teenager thrown into this weird demonic world full of penis monsters and sexy ladies that are trying to kill you. And the crux of the game is still you trying to find the balance between adventuring in this demonic world and trying to make sure your grades aren't falling down in the real world. The first truly HD Persona game has meant the game just oozes amazing art and music and presentation out of every nook and cranny, and the game is a visual treat from start to finish. More callbacks to the older systems in the older games is a really nice touch, with the series only really blowing up with Persona 3. Negotiating with demons and truly random dungeon designs provide a good throwback to keep the series fresh for the newer players. There really isn't enough praise I could heap on Persona 5, and in terms of JRPGs, it's the best thing going these days, and 9 times out of 10, this would have been my game of the year. But something else truly special came out this year. There isn't a lot of moments in games that leave me sitting there speechless with my mouth wide open in amazement. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a game filled with these moments. From the first trek into the huge world, to encountering a divine beast for the first time, and that final march into Hyrule Castle, my jaw was planted firmly on the floor for my over 100 hours of gameplay. To say this is a reinvention of the Zelda franchise sells it a bit short. Take what you knew of the rigid dungeons, finding equipment to pass certain problems, and wielding the Master Sword from start to finish, and throw it away. Because Breath of the Wild throws you into the open world and says, off you go, just try stuff. And any bit of experimentation I did often left me exclaiming, I did not know I could do that. Letting the player run wild in this world could have been a huge, daunting task, but Breath of the Wild provides just enough structure from area to area to give you a path, but also leaves the player enough agency to go about their own devices. I found myself constantly setting a waypoint to get somewhere and constantly straying from my destination as I found a small temple to solve, or just a camp full of enemies that I wanted to loot. Breath of the Wild is a truly special game, one that brought me back to the early days of open world games, where just seeing the size and scope of the world left me shaking with excitement of what could possibly be in store for me. I spent over 100 hours in the Wii U version of the game, and cannot wait to spend just as much, if not more, in the Switch version.